Raven Turner, and I'm going to be doing the logos, ethos, and Legos video. First, quick disclaimer: I never got to finish my poster, but I left it, and this is what happened to it. So I'm just gonna show you like the motivational part, and then I'm gonna like make a document and put what I would put in this triangle. So yeah. So the first thing that I have up here is let every space of your home reflect the thing that you love. The second thing I have is create where you belong. And the next thing that I have is cook and clean. And yeah, the reason that I put those on there is because like I'm just really motivated to have my own space. Like I don't really have a problem going on at home. Like I promise, because I know you're mandated to report it. I don't have no problem going on at home, but I just want to be in my own space. And if Gwinnett Tech had dorms, I would definitely like invest in it. Yes. Yeah. In my future, like I really just want to do in my future I really just want to be like in my own space, creating my own like minimalistic but modern like type of home, type of house. I'm really into decorating and stuff, so that's one of the main things that I'm looking forward to when I get my own home. And hopefully it's not too far away. I am like trying to get my life together so I can work towards that, but yeah. Okay, so since I didn't have like much stuff on my poster board, I just decided to make a PowerPoint and I can show you everything that I have. So this is going to be logos, ethos, and pathos. For my ethos like poster, well, my ethos that would be at the top essentially is make your house your home. And I said this because I just feel like I really, like, as I stated, like, I'm really into, like, decorating and stuff. But I really feel like every space should be yours. Like, every space in your house should say you live there and not really, like, yeah, I don't really know how to explain it well. But, yeah, it should be your space no matter what. Okay. So Maslow's, I don't know how you pronounce it, hierarchy of needs is basically a theory that explains how human needs are like how they put like how they put their needs in order. So, well, their needs versus their wants. And how they motivate, how these needs will motivate like human behavior. So ethos is basically, it's the beliefs of a group or person or institution. It is like you're getting the trustworthiness of the audience. So for my example, I would say, can I have an extra credit work? I always do my homework, so this makes me a reliable student. Basically, like how I see this is the student is asking, well, I mean, the teacher will look at it as, okay, well, you have done all of your work in the past, so I mean, I can trust you enough. Like you actually take your time and you study. So if you end up failing the class, like at least I see that you tried, you know. So I feel like ethos, yeah, that's what ethos is. Pathos is appealing to the emotions of the audience. For my example, I used, I'm feeling sad because you won't take me to see the new movie. And this would turn the audience's perspective around. And emotionally, it'll affect the audience. And this can also be said, like, for example, if Wendy Williams was like, well, I've been feeling down for some time. And because I couldn't make it to the show, and then my car broke down, and then like, and it just kept on going on. Like, if she's feeling down, it's gonna like change the mood of the audience, and everybody's gonna be like, feeling bad for her. And yeah, it's just whatever emotion the speaker is giving, or the speaker or the author is giving, then the it'll like switch the emotions of the audience. For logos, I said, well, this means to appeal the audience sense of reasoning using logic. For my example, we should walk to we should walk today instead of using the car. Is good for the environment and it will save money. So, um, this is basically just like, first of all of these are persuasions. So, logos would persuade the audience using logic, which is basically um like my example, which said we should walk today instead of using a car, is good for the environment and it will save money. It's like the audience is now looking at it from a perspective was like, okay, well, I can see where you're coming from. And then the author is like, well, I'm gonna get my way one way or another. Like, it's a win-win for me personally, but for the audience it's like a lose-win. So yeah. Critical perspective on Maslow's theory. It's logos is the pyramid, because logically this is how humans see their needs versus their wants in life. So logos, well, um the audience, they it's just basic human knowledge for them to know, okay, well, first we'll need food and water and stuff like that, and then next we'll need shelter, and then we'll need blah blah blah, and then we could feel comfortable, well, connections with people, and then we'll feel comfortable enough to higher up. Like, it climbs up a ladder. Okay. Yeah, it'll just climb up the ladder, and it'll just give people the chance to basically like put their priorities where it needs to be. So, like, you're not gonna get shelter. Well, some people might, but you're not gonna try to save a relationship before you have food and water on your table. Or you're not going to buy a phone that costs more than your house, hypothetically. Like, I know that's not true, but you're not going to try to buy your phone um before you have a house, or before you have something to eat. Like, it's just basic human needs will come first in the end. So level 1 would be water, food, shelter, and sleep. For me, well, I mean, this is human needs, so I feel like I can relate to all of these. So definitely, I wouldn't change any of them. And yeah. So level 2 is safety needs, and this would relate to me because safety needs is basically like having security and like feeling secure, like you don't have to look over your shoulder all day. And this relates to me because if I was to move into a house, I would definitely look into shelter, especially if I end up moving by myself. So for example, I would use security cameras to help me lead up to meeting my safety needs. I would use security cameras. And also when I'm in a car, like, I wouldn't be on my phone. I would always wear my seatbelt. 15 minutes a day, I would, well, not 15 minutes, but like, well, all the time, For my security camera, I will always like, check the cameras and then looking both ways before crossing the street. And that's just with anything, looking both ways before like crossing anything, just to make sure that I'm safe. I would definitely like implement that, even though I always do. And also I wouldn't be on my phone when I'm crossing the street, because I never know, like somebody's brakes could stop working. Even if I'm walking on a crosswalk and they like somebody brake could stop working and they end up, hitting me because they couldn't slow down, or something could be flying across the street or something. Like, it's just, I don't know. I just wouldn't put my life in danger that much over a phone. So I would definitely like put my phone down anytime when needed. So love and belonging is basically like relationship wise, and like like how well you would put your relationships, well, yeah, like where your relationships would fall in line. So for me, I feel like it's very important to have a relationship with God, or your God, but my God, I feel like it's very important to have a relationship with my God. So I would definitely like spend more time reading the Bible and stuff like that. And yeah, I just feel like with that, um I honestly, people always say like spending time with God like means you have to pray all the time. And it's really not even that. It's more so just talking to him, like even when you're sad, when you're happy, like, so the way that I like sometimes would spend time with God is talking to him in the shower every day and stuff like that. So I'm definitely going to try to implement that more, especially when I move in, because I don't want to fall short on my relationship with God. So yeah. Oh, back to that. So I was saying like people feel like you have to pray all the time, but you could really just be like, "Hey God, so today, guess what happened?" Like, just talk to him like he's sitting next to you. Like, yeah. Um Next I would say like my mother would be like one of the people that I love and I cherish relationships with. And then my cousin, then siblings, nieces, and nephews. This is not in order, but it's, for the most part, like it's just who, like, if I had to choose, what, oh my gosh, that sounds so bad, but if I had no choice, um yeah, like I love all of my family, but these are probably the main people, like the ones that I talk to on a daily. Yeah, let me say it like that. I talk to them more on a daily. Not really like if I was to, I would choose them over anybody else, because I feel like everybody is just the same, like, level. Um, but those are the people who look out for me the most. So yes, definitely them. Phone, car, and clothes. This is also not in order, but it's like some of the things that are most important to me. Not necessarily my phone, but I do have a lot of important things on here, like important contacts, emails, like everything, my money, like my virtual money that probably doesn't even exist for real because it's on a phone. Like, it's weird, but I don't know. The world is becoming a weird place, but anyhow, my phone, not really because I'm attached to it or anything, but just because it has like a lot of important stuff on there, my like notes and stuff. My car to help me get around. I'm definitely gonna have to like find another job so that I'm able to like, you know, easily provide for the car and its needs. Because God forbid that the government gives us gas. Especially as a student, like, God forbid the government gives us gas and at least lower the car note. But child, anyways, and clothes, because like I just need clothes on my back. And I'm not really, I was into fashion like more so in high school, but now I'm not really like that big on it. but still I feel like clothes are definitely, it's just something that you can't have too many of. Well, to a certain extent, but yeah, I just feel like I need clothes a lot. For esteem, I would say that I'd rather, well, no, I'd rather have self respect than respect of others, because I feel like when you have self respect and you don't let anybody, like, treat you any type of way, then others will respect you. And they'll know, like, oh, well, let me not say this to her because I know she's, like, she's not going to go for it. So, but yeah, I would say self respect is definitely something that I should work on, because honestly, I'm not a confrontational person. I'm not scary, but I'm not confrontational. So if somebody was to like come up to me and just like say something slick, like I'm gonna be thinking about it like 5 minutes later, but I don't know like how to react at that moment. So yeah. But definitely like 5 minutes later I'm gonna be thinking, I'm gonna be like, dang, I should have said blah 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 back, but I should have been like blah, like, but yeah, at that moment I'm not a confrontational person, so I definitely need to work on that, because I feel like the longer I wait to say something back, the more people feel like they could treat me any type of way. Um, Respect of other, and then by the time I want to say something back, it's just like, well, the situation already done happened. Like, am I really finna start something up? Um, for respect of others, I feel like I do respect other people's wishes and stuff. And yeah, for confidence, I feel like my confidence level is, I feel like it's average, honestly. Like, I'm not overly confident, I'm not underconfident. I'm just I'm just living. Yeah. For self-actualization, I would say problem solving is definitely one of my strong suits. Um like even working in retail, like I can easily solve like problems. So if somebody was to like skip somebody in line, I'll just be like, okay, well, well, how about y'all try this? Or if somebody couldn't find something, I'll be like, well, here's an alternative. Like, I'm really good at problem solving. Acceptance of reality. I feel like I feel like acceptance. I feel like accepting reality is one of the main things in this level, because if you're just living in a fantasy world all the time, you're not going to understand like when something actually happens. Like, you're not going to be able to handle it. And then it's like, it's low key like you're bottling up your emotions, just trying to ignore everything and keep on pushing. Like, no, you have to actually like feel it. Like, you have to let it out. You have to go through that situation, and you have to actually know that you're going through that situation and not try to ignore it or anything. Creativity. I feel like I'm creative, but I'm not really like big on creativity, honestly. But that is one of the things that I added, because I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I should work on my creativity, because I do have like a lot of ideas that come to me, but I don't really know how to execute it and stuff. So yeah. So ethnocentrism, ethn ethnocentrism. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. The belief that one's own culture is superior to others, using culture standards to judge others, is basically what it is. And I just feel like with that, a lot of people definitely would use other people's culture and just take it and like stump on it, because that's not what they believe, and they're taught completely different from birth, or not even from birth sometimes, but that's just not what they're taught. So they begin to like look down on other people. So with this one, I feel like the way that it will relate to me is if I was like, since I'm Christian, I feel like if I was to go around like a group of Muslims or something, not wearing a hijab, not covering my body, and I'm not saying that that's like every Muslim's belief, but that's majority. So if I wasn't like covering up my body or my head, and saving it for my husband, they'll feel like I'm just, showing off my body, and they feel like just heavily disagree with me. Know thyself, know one's own heart, and to understand the motives behind one's actions. This can relate to me because, well, it will relate to me because I'll be firm on exactly what I mean and what I understand. So if someone was to ask me, like, how do I feel about a certain situation, then I'll be able to tell them and I won't regret what I said. Being a critical thinker versus being a contrarian. Critical thinkers evaluate information to form their own opinion. Contrarians just agree to disagree. So critical thinkers will actually sit back and look at a situation and they'll like tell what they think about it. Contrarians, they would listen, but if they disagree, they won't they don't want to go back and forth. They don't want to like sit there through it all. So they'll just be like, okay, well, we agree to disagree. Next topic. Spotlight effect describes how people tend to overestimate how much others are noticing them. Honestly, I do relate to this because I feel like every small detail counts, especially when I'm going out, because I feel like somebody will look at me and be like, well, why does she have a very white shoestring and the other one is like yellowish? Like, it's just stuff like that. Better than average effect, people overestimate their abilities, personality traits, and attributes to their peers. Personally, I feel like this doesn't necessarily relate to me, but at the same time it might, because what if all of this that I'm saying is different in somebody else's eyes? Like, if somebody was to come to me and be like, well, I don't like the way you act, I'm gonna be like, well, I don't really understand why you don't like the way I act, because I feel like I'm nice to everybody, but they probably just caught me on a bad day or something. So yeah. Dunning-Kruger effect, cognitive bias that occurs when people overestimate their knowledge in particular areas. I don't really overestimate my knowledge, but I can say that this probably will relate to me because going into my career, I'm probably gonna like feel like I can just go ahead of, or I'm gonna be wondering like, why am I still like, why haven't I been promoted and I know this and I do that and blah blah blah. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.